Hi, Chris. I just wanted to give you a brief update on what we have going on for the PMNato3 and human embryonic stem cells, and also to just ask a few brief questions. And I thought this might be the best way to do it. Obviously, we can talk more if that makes sense or is easier to communicate. But what I have going on basically is that we had been working on the Thermo Fisher protocol in terms of looking at the induction of NATO3 and a lot of other markers like tyrosine hydroxylase, et cetera. And then the purpose was that we were going to add and induce PMNato3. We've had supply chain issues with Thermo Fisher. We can't get any of the reagents anymore, so we need to switch. So we were going to switch over to the stem cell technology kits that we have that are out there. And so this is one I think you guys are pretty familiar with in terms of using either embryonic bodies or working from the neural precursor cells to be able to go through the stem diff dopaminergic differentiation sequence. And so that's our plan to go through as well. And so our main idea is the same, that we basically want to turn on NATO3 and see if we can accelerate the expression of some of these markers that we've seen, or if we can see the greater efficiency, meaning greater percentage of numbers of Th-positive FOXA2 neurons. And the setup is pretty similar, but there are a couple of direct questions I wanted to ask. So here, we were thinking we were going to start with the embryonic body protocol and work through that protocol because it's faster. And we need to get these answers to see whether this is actually something we can push forward with or not. Then we can, and so maybe in the future we'll work from neural progenitor cells. I wanted to just get your feel of whether there was a difference between the embryonic body or neural progenitor cell protocol in terms of generating dopamine neurons. So some pluses and minuses are described here. And one thing that we wanted to ask you was basically, do you have a favorite marker for detecting these neural progenitor cells and that status? That might be a nice one to add to our mix. So I think in the protocols they have here, it's like nested in FACT6 or SOX1. And I didn't know if you had a setup that you liked in particular or that would be meaningful. And then finally, just to kind of to help illustrate what our strategy is going to be, is that we would end up adding our PMNato3 induction here, basically at the point where we start adding like sonic hedgehog and a bunch of the other components for dopaminergic neuron differentiation, and just leaving it on basically, or keeping it the doxycycline present in the median as we go ahead and go through this process. And the hope is that we would be able to see something that's a brighter signal or an earlier signal in some of these dopaminergic markers. And we compare all of these different time points at day -5, day 0, et cetera. And I believe I remember you saying that NER1 was kicking on around in here at day 25 or so. So we were trying to kind of touch that point, and also the day 18/19. Same ICC and qPCR strategy. We have a couple that we might actually take a look at here, and LMX1A, HES1, or ASCL1 might be interesting, but those are the key ones there. So similar setup to what we had before. So that's the main idea that I wanted to run by you, and some quick questions I had. And I thought a video might be kind of a faster way to kind of talk it through. But I guess if it sounds good, then let us know. And if there's some concerns and that you might have to share with us, we would love to hear it because we're starting this now. All right. Thank you so much for your help, and we'll talk soon.